This is a short video on how to hold the camera, use it for interviews, framing, silhouettes, and we're also going to touch on shooting runways, fashion walks, and a little bit of filming motorcars in motorsport events as well. All right, so this is primarily for KVTV camera people, but any enthusiast watching this video interested in learning how to use a camera, I hope you enjoy this video and find it useful too.
Yo, this is Chris. We having some curry duck and rum.
But we love it here, Corona Ice, man.
Missy and Diane.
That's how I took. We'll enjoy ourselves.
Cora Virgin.
We're going to make a song sooner.
I'm looking for some rappers.
I can actually cook. All right, so today on the menu, a la carte, is coconut dumplings, callaloo, and stewed chicken. I'm sweating in this kitchen. So for callaloo.
Okay, so a camcorder, how to hold a camcorder. Camcorder normally comes with a strap on the side that you can put your hand through. If the strap is too big, if you've got small hands, tighten the strap. Adjust it accordingly so it fits comfortably in the palm of your hand. I find these cameras, no matter how small they are, after 15 minutes filming or so, they start to get quite heavy. And the ideal thing with filming is to keep your camera as steady as possible. You want steady shots. So if you're holding it like this, because you have to hold it with the screen open, I find if you put your other free hand underneath your elbow of the hand with the camcorder, it acts as sort of like a tripod, a stabilizer. So you're able to hold the camera nice and steady just by having your hand under this elbow. It just makes it steady and firmer. Another way would be to hold the camera like this, using your elbows, resting them against your body. Yeah? And you hold it like this. But remember, sometimes, whatever position you're in, if you're filming for a long time, your arm still would get tired. So when you transition to another, transition slowly, make sure there's no jerks. All right? We like to film KVTV. I personally like close-up shots. If you're holding a camcorder, it doesn't mean that your legs will no longer work. You could still use your legs to move closer to the subject. Yep, make smooth motions. Bend your knees or use tiptoes. That acts as a natural shock absorber. Yeah? So when you're moving around, if you just bend your knees and walk on tiptoes, you get a much smoother action. All right? And when you're turning, it's best to turn your whole torso instead of just the camera like that. You get a much smoother shot if you turn your whole body. One of the major problems I find is silhouettes. Now, whether you're indoor or outdoor, if the sun is basically behind the subject, it's going to create a silhouette effect. The sun or a light behind is not very good. So you as the camera person, you are like the director. Normally on a KVTV shoot, it's only two people, the camera person and the interviewer, and whoever the interviewer is interviewing, if they are interviewing anyone. So you as the camera person are like the director. You are the only person who knows what's going on through that viewfinder. So you have to set up that shot perfectly. So before they start, you're looking around, seeing the best place to shoot. If you're at a motorsport event, choose something interesting. Go stand by a nice car as a background or something. Have an interesting background and establish where you're going to shoot. Make sure the sun, if you're outdoor, is basically on them, yeah? The sun would be behind you as the camera person. All right? Very, very important. Silhouetted shots look terrible. So that the lighting has to be behind the camera person. I don't like to see head to toe at all. I like to see like from here upwards, up to the top of the head. Make sure there's a little bit of room above the head. So you see from, upper stomach, lower chest, right through to the head. If the other person's there, make sure that there's enough room for the two people. During the interview, I also like you to zoom in slowly on one person. Probably you could start when on the interviewer, they normally would be starting the topic. So you would probably start on them and then probably zoom out or switch over to the next person, the interviewee. When they start talking, slowly pan across to them and make them the main focus of the camera. Zoom out slowly during the course or towards the middle of the interview. Not too much. Do not use that zoom button or move around too much. Do that probably once or twice through the interview. So you've got a nice full face of the person. You want to get sort of this sort of, so the people can see their face. This is TV, it's not cinema. Yeah, so make sure you get a nice full face shot. Once or twice, if it's a long interview, once or twice, then zoom back out. So the whole interview we're just steady with the two people in, or if they're talking long, then you zoom back into the person who's talking for a long time. All right, but slowly. Use the zoom slowly. Sometimes these zoom buttons, when you press them lightly, they really zoom in slowly. If you give it a heavy touch, it's going to zoom in really quickly. All right? So everything nice and smooth. When you turn in, nice and smooth. When you zoom in, again, nice and smooth. But do not overuse the zoom. Okay. If you're filming two people, and one's very tall, one's very short, whoever it is, whoever's starting the program, you start off on them, and then you pan across to the person who is either taller or shorter. All right? It's very awkward to get them in the same frame together, and it looks kind of odd. It's good to get the height. So at some stage, you're going to see the height difference, but it looks odd. So try starting on whoever's talking first, and then you pan across to the shorter or taller person. Nice and slowly as well, but if you can get two of them in frame together, fine. But as I say, very slow pans across to either person because, as I say, it's upward, side to side, and downward movement that you've got to be very nice and slow with. All right? Remember, when you pan in, when you zoom in, slow and smooth is the key. Lighting. Lighting is very important. In this shot here, that we'll see that the subject really, it's slightly too dark. The camera person notices this and tries to zoom in. But because they're not walking in, the light is on top of the camera, because they're not walking in, as they're zooming in, it actually makes the subjects even darker because the light is still at the same distance. So if you find they're too dark, turn up the light slightly. Remember, the presenter isn't going to know this, right? You as a camera person have to react and know what the best shot is. So either walk in close slowly, make the distance shorter, and then, or turn up the light slightly. But sometimes when you turn up the light too much, they start squinting and stuff. But yes, lighting extremely important. So if the shot is too dark, as I say, you as a camera person, you're like the director, you yourself turn up the light.
sees remind me of my pastor.
You have a good pastor, but I don't know why you don't follow him in church. You don't give up nothing in church. When he back.
Fetting on me mind.